All right, we're back at doing another little project. I decided to change my engine mounts because I just thought maybe it had to do with some vibration I was getting from the frame to the engine or vice versa. I don't think it's gonna actually make a difference, but I learned some things doing this project. This is the second time I've changed my motor mounts, but I learned some things I should have done. And one of those is I should have disconnected this pipe here. If you have stock ones, it'll be totally different, but just basically disconnect the air intake because it popped off on me. Another thing is you probably want to take your shroud off because I've got a 2-inch body lift, and so my body relative to my engine is going to be different than stock, but my fan was coming up into my fan shroud as I was lifting the motor. So you want to take that off there with those. There's just on mine, there's 4 bolts there that you use to take it off. Another thing real quick, so I'm lifting the motor up with this jack. Got me a nice new jack that I can trust. I put a little wood block in there. I'm on the bottom of the oil pan. I've read that that's probably risky, but the block adds a little bit of safety in there, and that it distributes all the forces evenly. Okay. Other piece of advice I'd have is say to do the driver's side first, because there's just not a lot of room over here. It's gonna be 3 bolts basically. It's the one in the middle, 17 millimeter, and then there's a 14 millimeter. Can't really see on this video, but on each side of the motor mount. We'll be able to see them a little better on the other side. But basically, you're gonna wanna take off this side first, which is the driver's side, and do it first. In fact, I tightened it all back down. So you take it all off, all 3 bolts, lift up the motor, and then you slide it out the mount, put another one back in, put that side back on. This side over here is the passenger side. It's much easier to get to, especially with my truck. So with the body lift and all, there's just a lot of space in here. So getting to the trick, so whenever you lower it back down, it just does not want to line up on the holes right there. So I tried putting the mount to the engine first with the 17 millimeter nut, and that didn't work. That would have been ideal for it to just drop right in place. I tried putting the 14 millimeters on and dropping it in, but it just would not line up no matter what it did. I tried pulling and pushing. So what ended up working is I took this 14 millimeter here and I took it off completely, and then I pivoted back towards the back of the truck, and I had the 17 off too, and I pivoted it back, and that with the motor up probably about 6 inches, and when I pivoted that up, it got right in line with the hole, and I had to push it up there with my hand, but it pretty much came in. And when I got it in a little bit, I just tightened the 17 millimeter and the 14 on the back just enough, and then I took a rope and I wrapped it around here, and then I pulled and I tightened it right here, and then I slowly pulled, lowered, and it came all lined up. I was able to get that bolt in, and it all came together. Probably tried for, I bet, 2 hours, trying all different ways to get to work. There's probably a better way, but that worked for me. Again, loosening that up, have the engine all the way lifted up, twist it back to the back of the truck, and then getting that 17 millimeter in there, and then slowly letting it back down with a rope. And if you can have someone helping, pulling on it, that's probably best. Anyway, hopefully this saves someone a lot of time trying to get that back in.